A friend of mine recently called me and she said, Pulkit, I need your advice. I'm stuck. I'm in such a dilemma that I don't know what to do. So I asked her, what is the problem? And she said that her son had cleared the CFA exam after a couple of attempts and finally he had landed a job. And simultaneously, what had happened was that he had applied to the United States for a master's program in finance, and he had got admission in a university there too. So, my friend's dilemma was that she said that her son had got this job after such a long time, because of Corona and all the lockdowns. He was having such a difficult time finding a job, and finally, he had landed a job and she was wondering what her son should do. Should he continue in this job or should he, accept the admission that he had gotten in the university in the US? But she was afraid that, even after he went to the US and did this 1 year course, would he get a job? Would he get a job in the US or would he get a job back home? Because jobs these days are very difficult to find. The economy everywhere is shrinking, and so it's becoming very hard for youngsters to find jobs. And so this was the dilemma. She was like, should we accept what we have in our hand or should we let go of it and, accept something with a lot of uncertainty? So this was the dilemma that she had. And she asked me, what should I do, Pulkit? What should I do? I don't want to go to an astrologer or a numerologist or a palmist. I really want to have a surety in the decision that I make. So, you see, these kinds of difficult situations arise in all our lives. There are many times when we are just not able to decide, what should we do? Should we go down path one or should we go down path two? Like, we don't have that clarity. So my suggestion to her was, yes, of course, you should not go to an astrologer or a palmist because that is not going to really help you make a firm a decision which you will have a lot of faith in. So in such situations, the thing to do is I outlined to her a two-step solution, a two-step process which will help you get to the solution. So the first step in this process is to do the Gayatri Mantra Jap every day. There is no working around this. Every one of us should do the Gayatri Mantra Jap. And the reason why this jap is needed is because in order to get clarity on a certain issue, in order to make a clear and firm decision, we need to access our higher mind. Uh, if you look at the mind can be thought of as having three parts. One is the conscious mind. At the present moment, I'm using this conscious mind to talk to you. Another part of the mind is the subconscious mind, which regulates your body when you're sleeping and through which you experience the phenomena of dreams. There is yet a third part of the mind, which is, you can think of it as the superconscious mind. This is the higher mind, and the Gayatri Mantra Jap helps you reach this higher mind. So, if you want to have clarity of thought, if you want to make good decisions, then you must do the Gayatri Mantra Jap every day. This is a mantra which acts like an engine. You can think of it as an engine. Many times people ask me, like, why should we do the Gayatri Mantra Jap? Recently, a Christian follower of the spiritual bee asked me, Didi, I'm a Christian, so I don't think I can do the Gayatri Mantra Jap. So see, one actually, if one wants to be spiritual, one actually has to let go of some of these religious boundaries that we ourselves create around us. A mantra it's a truth, okay? And what it does is it's like an engine. It doesn't matter whether you're a, whatever is your religious dispensation, you should not give up your ideal. Like if you're a Christian, you should definitely, look up to Jesus, study the Bible, and adopt its teachings, definitely. However, there is no harm from the spiritual perspective in doing the Gayatri Mantra Jap. So you should, if you really want to access your higher mind, if you want to elevate yourself to a higher consciousness, then you must do the Gayatri Mantra Jap. It is a mantra which helps you elevate your consciousness. It works like a little engine, it's like a little engine. It pumps your consciousness higher and higher. It takes you to a higher level, which you normally will not access, a higher level of thinking. So it is the mantra which awakens vivek, the right way to think in any given situation. And the times are very, very difficult. Like, for example, now you can see that there is a war in Ukraine, and all these wars, all these frictions that are being caused within countries, amongst countries, a lot of it has to do with a weak and a wrong way of thinking. When we don't think correctly, when we are functioning from our ego, from our vested interests, and we don't care what happens to others, we have a clouded mind. So you have to rise above this clouded mind into the clarity of thought, and that clarity will come directly from your own mind, but you have to access that mind. So the Gayatri Mantra Jap, you can think of it like a little pump. It just takes you higher and higher. It'll push you up. Every day that engine will work within you. As you do the jap every day, it will work within you. So whether you're a Christian, whether you're a devotee of Krishna, a lot of people ask me, Didi, I'm a devotee of, Sri Krishna. I do the Hare Ram, Krishna jap. You can do any jap along with the Gayatri Mantra. It's not going to harm you. It will benefit you. Okay. So do your Hare Ram, Hare Krishna jap. Do your Om Namah Shivaya jap. Do any other jap that you want. But if you want to bring clarity to your mind, if you want to make good decisions, if you don't want to suffer from taking a wrong turn, a wrong decision, if many times we just cannot think, that we have so many difficulties in our life and we want to get out of them, but instead of getting out, we actually fall deeper in the well. That is because we are not able to think correctly in a given situation. So the power to think, the power to discriminate between right and wrong, between which path you should take, the power to look at the future, to evaluate it in a in-depth way, not in a superficial way. You should be able to evaluate, what are the pros, what are the cons. This kind of power, it's a very wonderful power. If you do the jap, you'll experience it. It's a matter of experience. So I suggest to everybody that in the current times that we are in, it's a must, do the Gayatri Mantra Jap every day. And once you do the jap, you will be able to access your higher mind, which is where the clarity of thinking lies. You'll be able to bring down this clear thinking into your conscious mind. Okay, so this is step one of the process. So the second step is to pray. And you have to pray to a great God realized guru, somebody who has the power to pull you up. Because in the spiritual path, it is not enough for the disciple to make his or her own self efforts. Those are very essential. They are absolutely needed. But in addition to your self effort, you need a guru to just pull you up. You need a force, a strong force. You're trying to push yourself up, and then the guru from the top is going to pull you up. Okay, so this is the action that you need for your mind, to get to the higher mind, get to the superconscious state of the mind. You need a guru's help. Usually on the spiritual path, for most or the vast majority of people, you need the help of God or guru. Here, a God realized guru and God are one and the same. There is no difference between the two. So that is why I'm just saying, pray to a guru. You can always pray to God. If you believe in Christ, pray to him. If you believe in Krishna, pray to him directly. If you have a God realized guru, then definitely pray to them. If you don't have a God realized guru, you can pick from one of the gurus that I represent on the spiritual Be. Any one of them, you can pick from them and start praying to them, and they'll definitely always help. And the way the guru helps, I'll just explain it to you from something that I've experienced in my own life. Ever since I was young, I always had a little bit of I mean, I've always prided myself in my clarity of thinking. I've always been a fairly clear thinking person. So when I was in the 10th standard, we had to make a choice whether which field we have to pick. So I had to choose between science or doing arts or doing commerce. And our school had called a coach. And this coach, she was like a counselor. So she called me into her office, and as with she did the same with other students. So she asked me, what do you want to do, Pulkit? So I told her I want to do science. And she looked at my grades and she told me that I don't think you should be doing science. You should definitely not pick science as your field, because your grades are not that good in science, in mathematics. uh, so that was the advice she gave. Obviously I didn't follow it. I mean, I didn't tell her anything, but in my mind I was very clear. I told myself, I said, even if I fail, I am going to do only science. I love physics, so I'm going to do everything in my power to study physics. Whether I fail in it or I pass in it is a secondary thing. So I obviously, like, I took physics and I did very well. I did very well educationally. And so always in my life, I'm very clear minded. Okay. But recently, this was a dilemma that I faced, and it took me 3 years to resolve. I won't get into the dilemma, but what I want to communicate to you is that what was shown to me by the divine was that whatever clarity of thought that I was priding myself in was not sufficient. There are blind spots in my mind also, and I need to be aware of that. I was really, I mean, I can't tell you, it took me 3 years to solve this one particular problem that was bothering me. And the only way that I could solve it, I tried everything. I tried to think through everything that I could do with my conscious mind. I tried. It just did not work. It did not work. And finally, I mean, I used to pray to my guru in the intervening time. In all these 3 years, I used to tell him, look here, I have this problem, so please help me solve it. But you see, when you pray, you have to pray also in a proper manner. There is a way to pray. If you want a problem to be solved, you have to define the problem in a proper manner to your guru. Of course, my Gurudev is, my central guru is Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya, and he has left his body, but he's omnipresent. And so whenever I'm faced with difficulties, usually I go to him, or I go to Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Many times they have also solved a lot of my problems. And so these are the two central figures that I go to. But I also pray many times to Swami Vivekanand. When I am stuck in Vedanta and I cannot understand things, I've prayed to him and he has helped me through. Okay, so for 3 years, I was trying to solve this problem, as I just told you. And I would pray, whenever this problem, it's not that I was praying every day about this problem, but whenever it started to bother me, I would just pray to Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharya, and I would tell him, see, Gurudev, I have this problem and I don't know what to do. I mean, I who prided myself in my rationality, who always thought that I could think very clearly, I'm stuck. Okay, so I was telling him this, and I'm sure on the other side he must have been laughing. He must have been really like, how foolish are you? I'm sure he was thinking that. But in any case, I was praying to him, and the solution did not come. It just did not come. So it so happened that, uh, see, the way spirituality works is you have to try, and then someday the door does open. It does open. So one day I was just reading this book about Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekanand, and in that book there was this incident where Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekanand used to go and pester Sri Ramakrishna that please give me the experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So towards the end, Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, I'll give it to you. So he bestowed Nirvikalpa Samadhi on Swami Vivekanand, and then he said that I'm taking the key away from you. I am going to put a veil of Maya over your mind, and I'm going to not let you experience Nirvikalpa Samadhi again, because I know that if you experience it again, you'll just give up the body. You'll not want to stay. You'll just want to stay immersed in bliss, and you'll not be wanting to focus on the work that I have for you. So I'm going to put a veil of Maya on your mind, and you will not be able to attain to Nirvikalpa Samadhi until you finish the work that you have incarnated for, and the work for which I have trained you. And this work was to teach Vedanta, the Vedantic knowledge which had been forgotten. You know, the knowledge of our rishis, which are documented in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, in the Puranas, in the Ramayana, Mahabharata, all these scriptures, it had been forgotten by the vast majority of Indians. And even if they knew it only theoretically. They were not able to apply it in their actions. And also, there was a need to spread Vedanta to the world, because the future has been already decided by these rishis. The future world is going to be a world of unity. And the basis of that unity, the seeds of those unity had to be sown all throughout the world. And those unifying seeds are what Swami Vivekananda sowed. That is why he went to the US, to sow these seeds of spiritual thought, the right way of thinking. And it is only in the spiritual realm that you can find this oneness. Once you unite, once you realize that we are each souls and we are each part of the same God, that is when you will start to unite. You know, you will overcome your religious differences, your communal differences, your gender differences, your race differences. You'll overcome all these once you experience and once you ascend to a higher consciousness, and you realize, once you understand that you're a soul, you're not a body, you're not a mind, you're a soul. Okay, so Swami Vivekanand went to sow the seeds to the West. That is why he went. And that is the work that he has done. You know, we can't even understand what he has done. But coming back to my story, so Swami Vivekanand, when his guru told him that I'm taking away the key and what you have to do is go and teach people. So he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to meditate. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to do that. This is what he told him. So Sri Ramakrishna told him that, your very bones will make you do my work. And it is true. Actually, after Sri Ramakrishna gave up his body, Swami Vivekanand went to the Himalayas and he actually tried to lose himself in meditation. And he just could not. He just could not. He has written that he felt pushed towards the plains. He said that I just could not sit in the Himalayas. I had to go down to the plains. And slowly the work of spreading Vedanta became clear to him. He understood what he had to do, and then he went to the West and did all these, and he spread the teachings of Vedanta. So it was because of the veil of Maya. So that was a crucial piece of information that I needed to solve my problem. So when I read that Sri Ramakrishna had put the veil of Maya on Swami Vivekananda's mind, I thought to myself, I said, if a guru can put the veil of Maya, he can also obviously remove it. So I prayed to Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya. I changed my prayer. I told him, see, Gurudev, obviously there is a shortcoming in me. So please remove this veil of Maya. I'm not able to decide. I really need some information that will help me decide. I'm missing something, I'm definitely missing a way of looking at this in a different way. I probably need to look at it differently. So you need to reorient me. You need to remove this veil of Maya. Please remove this veil of Maya and help me solve my problem. And when I prayed to him this way, honestly, within I think 2 weeks or so, I got a whole new perspective. I don't know what I was doing. I was just surfing the internet, but I saw something and I got a whole new perspective to solve my problem. The solution was not on the internet, but I got a new way of looking at my problem, and then I could see the solution. Finally, after 3 years of struggling, I could see the solution. So what I'm trying to say to you is that I do the Gayatri Mantra Jap daily, okay? But my own efforts were not enough. I needed the help of my guru, I needed the help of a God realized guru, not just any guru, but a God realized guru who is one and the same as God. There's no difference between them. I needed their help to pull me out, to show me, uh, you know, to show me a different way of looking at it. And that is the piece I was missing. I'll give you an example. I don't want to describe my problem. It's a little, it'll be too much for this video. But I'll just give you an example. Suppose you're standing and you're looking towards the Himalayas, but there is this, bunch of trees, a forest of trees that is blocking your view, a big banyan trees in the middle, and you can't see the mountain. So what you need to do is actually shift a little, okay, but you don't know that you have to shift. So the change in that perception, the change in your thinking, if you shift just a little bit, you'll be able to see the mountain. And that shifting, that help in the shifting, they remove that veil of Maya, they remove the tree, you move to the side and you can, see the mountain. So this is the work of a guru. The guru does not have to be in the physical body. God is not in the physical body. Sometimes he takes a physical body when he comes down as an avatar, but the guru need not be in the physical body. A God realized guru is usually, they maintain a subtle body, a presence in the subtle body or in the causal body. Otherwise, they are anyway present as the omnipresent consciousness. So, whichever way, you can always connect with them and they will help you. So, if you are in a dilemma, if you want to solve a really difficult problem, you're not able to get any clarity of thinking. Sometimes we may fall ill, and what happens with illness is that you have one illness, but because you're not thinking clearly, you will get another, you'll add on another illness, you'll add on worry, you'll add on anxiety. You'll just spiral. Like sometimes we just spiral out of control. I've seen it happen in my life too. Like if I'm not having a clarity of thinking, it's very easy to go in the wrong direction. So, if you're a student, if you're a working professional, if you're old, whatever is your age group, start doing the Gayatri Mantra Jap. It is a wonderful, wonderful way to develop vivek, to develop discrimination between right and wrong. That is what we need always. We always make the wrong decisions. And then we just suffer endlessly because after that wrong decision, we make some more wrong decisions. We're not thinking clearly. So that is the root of the problem. So if you want to solve a problem, you have to go to the root. And so, therefore, I suggest that everybody do the Gayatri Mantra Jap. The Jap is very easy. If you're from the Hindu tradition, you can focus on Gayatri Mata when you do the Jap. When you do the Jap, you should not think of the meaning. You should not think of the meaning. You should just make your mind blank and you can think of Gayatri Mata. If you're from the Christian traditions or some other traditions, if you also believe in the formless God, then you think of the rising sun. The rising sun is a physical representation of the divine light of our soul, the divine light of God. Okay, so think of the rising sun. Just put the rising sun in front of you, or you can put Gayatri Mata, the picture, in front of you. Close your eyes and just keep the picture in your view and just say the jap. That is all that is needed. We don't need to do more. You don't have to think of the meaning. You don't have to do anything. Just do the jap. You should do the jap at least 108 times. But if you can't, then, just do whatever you can. Whatever you can manage, just do. And then pray. The prayer really helps. It really, really helps. I mean, I would say, every difficulty I've faced in my life, the advice that your friends and family give you, and many a times that's not the advice you need. Sometimes that's the advice you need, but then there are some such naughty problems of life that you really need a higher power to give you that input. No astrologer, no palmist. Sometimes even your parents may not be able to help you reach that decision. So this is a two-step process. Okay, the first one is to do the Gayatri Mantra Jap, and the second one is to pray. It is to pray to God, or you can pray to a God realized guru. You can pick from one of the God realized gurus that I represent on the spiritual way, but this is not a complete list. Okay, I mean, I'm not like, I'm not telling you that these are the only God realized gurus. These are the ones I know. Okay, they're the ones I know. They are in my uh, personal experience. Okay, so that is why I represent them on my site. But you can always go to others. If you have another God realized guru outside of the ones that I represent, pray to them and ask them for help, and always when you pray, you should have a conversation with God. In your head, you should have a conversation. Like just as you talk to a friend, you should talk to God just like that. And you should say, please help me out and show me where I'm going wrong. That is really what we need, because 90% of the time, it's a problem with the way we are thinking. I would say 99% of the time it's a problem with the way we are thinking, and the way we are approaching, or there's something in our mind. There's a veil of Maya, of ego, or of wrong thinking, of ignorance, that is clouding our judgment, that is clouding our view of the future, of what we should do. So for that, both these things are needed. The jap is needed and the prayer. So the jap will push you up and the prayer will pull you up. So it is a push up and a pull up. That is what is needed. So I hope that this video has been helpful to you, and we shall meet again in the next video. Take care. Goodbye.